The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. It is a Wednesday morning. Hope everybody survived the floods in Western North Carolina yesterday. But anyway, we are...
That was a lot of damn water.
It was. It was a
Good
lot.
Lord.
6 inches of rain after one day of steady rain. We had a lot of downed trees and power lines and houses flooded and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was not a great day in Western North Carolina yesterday, but glad we made it to Wednesday. The suns are clearing up, or the sun is clearing up. We don't have more than one sun, and
just one sun.
It's another day. It's another day of the 30 days of Draftmas here in the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. We are live in the Wicked Weed studio as always. Check out our friends at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. We didn't get to finish the riskiest fantasy plays of the 2021 season yesterday, so we will cap this out with wide receivers and tight ends, and then we're going to fight a lot about the best TV sitcoms in history.
Rob Johnson asked, did we not do the radio show yesterday? We did.
We did.
Live. And then at 4:30, Mother Nature decided no more computers. So we did 41 straight minutes.
Yeah.
And then there was no podcast to put up. So it basically shut the computer down. And this is how we work in radio. The whole screen went blank, and I went, that's probably not good. But that has no effect on me. So I noticed it, and then when we went to go to break, he went, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Nope, I don't have any other things. So, dance we shall.
That's right. Live radio is always fun, and sometimes the computers don't play well with you, so you got to do what you got to do. I am going to try to remedy the podcast issue and get that posted up today if I possibly can. And the sound quality may not sound great because I may have to take it off of what we call the skimmer, which takes it off of the air signal from the AM radio, so it might be a little staticky. But all in all, we will get the podcast from yesterday's show up. Hopefully, I will be able to get the clean version that doesn't have all the EAS tones over the top of the conversation. But yes, we did have a radio show yesterday. We will have another one this afternoon. Hopefully that will not create any more problems for us. Yesterday we talked about quarterbacks and running backs, some big risk plays for fantasy football in 2021. Today, wide receivers and tight ends. It's hard for me to find a wide receiver at the top of the fantasy rankings that I think, yeah, that's a major risk. Because I believe in the ability of all of these guys to be the number one target for their entire team. I thought maybe Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley isn't really proven. He did have, 8 games was it last year without Julio Jones, so he got number one coverage, but he was still one of the best fantasy plays in fantasy football.
He was wide receiver 5 last year in PPR.
Yeah. So maybe Calvin Ridley being the number one guy, but who the fuck else are they going to throw to?
Kyle Pitts.
I mean,
Mike Davis.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, I still believe Calvin Ridley's going to get 140 targets this year, at least, if not more than that. So I think the value, him going in the second round he's one of those guys that needs to be there. The first risky play we get to in, the ADP, Jeremy, you mentioned, was Keenan Allen. I'm not down on Keenan Allen this year. I don't buy into a risky play for him.
100%.
You're going to have to
completely different offense. Everything I hear is that the Michael Thomas role is going to be played by Josh Palmer, not by Keenan Allen. Josh Palmer, a guy that should be drafted in every fantasy league at this point. Late round, but he should 100% be owned in every fantasy league.
Okay.
I'm scared of Keenan Allen. I'm not going to lie to you. Last year, he was wide receiver 13 in PPR. Missed 2 games because that's what he does. And I don't know, there's just, I look at the weapons now between Eckler, Jared Cook's going to take, that he's basically going to be Hunter Henry all done up again.
Yep.
Mike Williams. Now I really believe in Josh Palmer. I don't believe Keenan Allen can live up to where he's being drafted right now. And I just look at everybody around him and go, there's not one player within 5 of him that I wouldn't prefer to have. Right now, Keenan Allen, according to Fantasy Pros, is going back in the 3rd round. Mm-hmm. In front of Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, all guys I'd rather have than him. I would rather have every guy I just said than Keenan Allen. And to me, it's not all that close.
Okay. Again, I disagree. I think Keenan Allen's going to be fine. He's going to continue to be the number 1, and that offense will be pretty much what we saw it was last year. Mike Williams he's the boomer bust to me.
And I disagree with you. I don't think Mike Evans can be any worse than he was last year. There were plenty of times that he got bailed out by touchdowns. Mm-hmm. I don't see him being that bad again. I don't see Chris Godwin being that bad again.
Okay.
I think they will both be more consistent in 2021 than they were in 2020. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying they were bad. I mean, hell, if you look at the leaderboard from last year, Mike Evans finished at 11. Chris Godwin was a little further down there. He was at 31. Mm-hmm. I think in my projections, I have Mike Evans at 8 and Chris Godwin at 11. So, you know. But then again, I don't buy Antonio Brown. I put very little stock in Rob Gronkowski.
Right. I fully disagree with you on Mike Evans. To me, the wide receiver to have for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year is Chris Godwin. What?
+2 to armchair. He said, "Wait, where does Tank have being drafted? Do you learn computers yet?"
Mike Evans to me is he's the guy. He's the guy that could very well likely disappoint you, especially if you're taking him ahead of Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson. I like Adam Felin better than him this year.
Better than Mike Evans?
Better than Mike
You're
Evans.
drunk. You're drunk against your own team.
I may be drunk against my own team, but to me, I mean, he's a steady guy. He's getting 1,000 yards every year. The problem is he disappears a lot.
I don't really dispute any of that. Mm-hmm. I just don't see it happening.
There's so many mouths to feed there. There is something between Tom Brady and Antonio Brown. To me, there's no doubt about it. Down at the end of the year last year, Antonio Brown became Tom Brady's second favorite toy next to Rob Gronkowski. To me, I don't see Godwin having as bad of a year as he had again last year. And to me, I just think Mike Evans starts to become the forgotten man at times in that offense. Plus, you got to figure they're adding in Gio Bernard, who's going to get some targets in the passing game. O.J. Howard is back.
Who gives a flying rat's
Just
ass?
saying, that's another mouth to feed.
Yeah. Bruce Arians just heard that and went, "Oh shit, O.J. Howard's back." When did he come back? I forgot O.J. Howard was on this team. Fun story about Mike Evans. Yep. He has been in the NFL for 7 years.
Yes.
How many years in the NFL does he not have 1,000 yards?
0.
It's 0. Never, not nary a one time. Mm-hmm. How many seasons does he have less than 8 touchdowns?
3.
2.
2.
One of them was his second year in the league. Mm-hmm. The other one was in 2017. Mm-hmm. I think you're drunk on Mike Evans, and I can't believe you're saying about one of your own guys.
You have to consider that Mike Evans is very touchdown dependent. What?
How in the hell is he touchdown dependent? He's been over 1,000 yards every year. Mm-hmm. Fewest targets he ever had in his life was what year?
Oh, I don't know.
Last year.
Okay.
By a lot, actually. Mm-hmm. He was 9 fewer than the second fewest, about 13 fewer than. Other than that, it was 130 plus every year, including a year with Bruce Arians. I think you're wrong on Mike Evans. I just straight up, I think you're wrong.
There were 6 times last year that he caught 3 or fewer balls. And if I'm drafting a guy up, I want a guy that's going to give me steady production. I don't want this boom or bust thing, and that's what Mike Williams was last year. Almost 50% of his points last year came off of touchdowns. He had 11 touchdowns last year. It's fucking fantastic. Awesome. Okay. Is that repeatable?
Yeah, because he's been doing it every year he's been in the league. If he doesn't have the touchdowns, he has the catches. I mean, every year he's been, I think he's been a top 15 receiver every year he's been in the NFL.
Yes.
I'm going back
but
to verify that.
But him being wide receiver 8, I think that's...
I lied. He was 17 in 2017, that year we already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And right now he's going at... Mike Evans going wide receiver 10.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any risk in that. There's zero risk taking Mike Evans that high, in my opinion.
Okay.
He's going behind Keenan Allen, which is still stupid to me.
But, I mean, that's also considering people think that Mike Williams is going to probably be hurt at times, and that lends more to Keenan Allen's going to get more targets from Justin Herbert. I can understand it.
Wait, you think Keenan Allen's going to have more targets next year than he's had? You think he's got more targets this year than he had last year?
No, I'm saying...
Because he had 147 last year.
Right, but I'm saying that's why people are on him ahead of Mike Evans, because of the volume that he gets.
And he doesn't do shit with it. He dwarfs Mike Evans in targets. Mike Evans has beaten him in yardage all but 1 year of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And he never scores touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
By comparison. I don't get it, and I'm not going to be convinced of it either. And he's hurt. Invariably, he'll miss 2 games a year.
Yes, he will indeed. All right, after Mike Evans, who
Armchair is learning that the scoring system is very dependent on how many veiled barbs you throw at Tank.
Pretty much.
The more offensive things you say about him, the more points you score.
Next.
Oh,
I had asked you.
Oh,
that.
Mike Evans is yours. Okay, sorry. I thought you were running. What's that word? Devil's advocate. That's what I thought you were doing.
No,
so you're
Mike Evans is actually on my list.
You're actually down on Mike Evans.
I'm not down on him. I'm not drafting him as one of the top 8 wide receivers in the league.
And you don't have to. He's going to 10.
You said he was your 8, so that's.
Oh, yeah, he's my 8, 100%. My next one would be Amari Cooper.
Okay.
He's going at 17. Fun stat about playoff weeks last year with the Dallas Cowboys. They had 3 receivers in the top 32.
Mm-hmm.
One was 11, one was 16, one was 32. Which one was which?
I don't know.
Michael Gallup was 11, CeeDee Lamb was 16, Amari Cooper was 32. CeeDee Lamb has passed him clearly as the one, and I think Michael Gallup's actually better than he is.
Mm-hmm.
And you're having to take him way too high. I can't justify taking Amari Cooper ahead of a litany of guys that are going behind him. I have Amari Cooper at 28. Straight up. That's in my rankings for this year. Amari Cooper's 28. He's being drafted as wide receiver 17. I'm going to pass on that.
I don't like Amari Cooper, period.
Well, he's always been dog shit on the road.
I don't like him, period, and I have a lot of shares of CeeDee Lamb, and I have several shares of Michael Gallup as well.
I like Gallup. I think I like Gallup better than all of the Cowboys.
Well, we talked about Gallup in our sleepers content, that he's going to be a target monster. And I see Amari Cooper starting to take that step back in this offense. So I fully agree with you on he is a risky pick at where he's going.
How many targets did Michael Gallup have last year? I'm just curious how close you get.
105?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
105. Amari Cooper had 130.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I honestly think they might be right on top of each other this year.
Yeah.
And you can get you have to take one in the 4th round, you have to take the other in the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm good with that. And they don't have a tight end worth talking about. 100%. Give me Michael Gallup.
Right. Let's talk about another Tampa Bay guy, since we already mentioned him, Chris Godwin.
Adam Black asked a question in the comments that since we're talking about risky wide receivers.
Yeah.
With Ridley, should he be avoided because they have no one else and everyone knows that? Here's the problem. They don't have anyone else. Straight up, there's no one else. It's him and Kyle Pitts. That's the two weapons. I like Russell Gage better than a lot of people do because I think this team's going to be behind a lot. And I could see Russell Gage. Russell Gage may not see more than one-on-one coverage any time all year. If I'm taking Atlanta receiver, it's Russell Gage because of where I can take him. I'm not in on Calvin Ridley solely because I don't know how much better he can be than he was last year.
Yeah.
That was with Julio. Now you get ones all the time. If I knew how Kyle Pitts lined up, I would feel better about where Calvin Ridley lies. If Calvin's in the slot and Kyle Pitts is on the outside of him, all in. Because I don't know how you're going to defend him from the slot. He will eat you alive. I don't know that that's how that's going to happen. They may try to teach Kyle Pitts the tight end position, in spite of the fact he couldn't block knee, and has no desire to. I mean, I'm sure he could. He's a gigantic human, but there's just not what you use him for.
Right, but they have Hayden Hurst for that.
And I don't think Hayden Hurst is going to see the field as most people think he is. Unless they play Kyle Pitts on the outside.
I think that's how that goes.
That's how I would do it, but I'm not Arthur Smith, so I can't. I can neither confirm nor deny.
I think that's what he will do. He will mix up and he will move everybody all over the field.
Remember my first beer?
Yeah, stop. They will move everybody all over the field. And yeah, I think Hayden Hurst is going to play a lot. He's not going to get a lot of targets, but he is going to play a lot. Because I think they do have some deficiencies on that offensive line. That line needs help.
I believe in the talent of Calvin Ridley. I'm scared of what he's going to draw matchup-wise. I'm afraid he's going to see way more number one corners than he's ever seen before. Because even when Julio was out, he's still running out of the slot. Still, schematically, they had guys that could beat you deep. Now they don't have shit. They got Russell Gage, who, he's okay. And Olamide Zaccheaus, who the only thing I've ever seen him do is hit home runs. So.
Right.
The man, you literally could tell me the man couldn't run a route, and I believe that. Because all I ever see him do is run 9 routes.
Yeah.
So I have a little fear of Calvin Ridley solely because of where he's going, not so much. I'm not as much worried about a regression. I'm worried about it being very inconsistent. Because now he's going to see that guy. Marshawn Lattimore will be on Calvin Ridley. J.C. Horn, who's super physical, will be on Calvin Ridley. Because there's nobody else to put him on.
He is no doubt going to get their best coverage. The thing is, can he stand up to that coverage? And I think last year he proved that he can. He could still be a productive wide receiver when he's getting the number one
Productive,
guy.
Yes. Can he be currently he's going as wide receiver 6. He's going ahead of A.J. Brown, which is stupid.
It is stupid.
He's going ahead of Justin Jefferson, which is also stupid.
Right.
So, in terms of that, I'm not taking him ahead of those two guys, but, I think he's vaguely where he should be.
So when you look at everybody's lists of every site on who's the riskiest plays, I'm seeing a constant chorus of Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, Adam Thielen. All of those guys, in some form or fashion, are being touted as risky plays.
I get 2 of those.
I understand the Chris Godwin thing.
I don't.
He did have a down year last year. There are a lot of, and if you got to choose one or the other, in my opinion. If you're standing on the Mike Evans pedestal, then back your guy. If you're standing on the Chris Godwin pedestal, you got to back your guy. The other one's not going to be as relevant, though. So one of them, because they're going right where they're going right together, and one of them is going to be bust material.
I disagree with you. They can both be relevant to where they're being drafted. That offense is good enough for that because you don't run the ball well, and you're not going to. I think you're too worried about Gio. I think you're too worried about other things. The Chris Godwin thing, I don't get at all, especially with where he's fallen to in drafts. And now he's going behind Adam Thielen, which is dumb. By the way, since Adam Thielen's name came up, I have to say this every time his name came up or comes up. Put him back in the damn slot. Number one thing from watching Viking tape that just pissed me off to no end last year.
Yeah.
Putting him on the outside makes no damn sense.
Last year, we expected a big year from Chris Godwin because of him being in a contract year. He was going to be able to cash in and get his money, and he still could have done that, but he decided to come back and try to go for another Super Bowl on a one-year deal. I don't fault him for that. In fact, it's my team. I love him for that. But last year, I mean, he struggled. He was hamstrung by injuries. Missed 4 games, and he didn't have as great of a year as everybody thought. I think a lot of people, Tampa Bay fans especially, thought Chris Godwin was going to be used in the slot as that, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, he's going to be the guy that Tom looks to every time. And you saw that in flashes last year, but Tom was an equal opportunity employer a lot. I mean, he spread the ball around a lot, and he's going to continue to do that. So I can understand why some people think he's the bust. Again, to me, I think it's Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin is going to be the one to have out of the offense, and Antonio Brown as your sleeper.
He had one damn game in week 17.
He had more than that. He had a damn good stretch. He had a good playoffs. And when they got into scoring position, Tom Brady looked his way a lot. He trusts Antonio. And that's going to factor into the value of either one of these two guys.
Disagree with you. Disagree with you wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Now I can't tell if you're trying to avoid being a homer. I can't tell exactly what it is you're doing.
No, I'm trying to be honest because here's the thing. There is going to be one to have.
You said Antonio Brown had this great run of games. How many 100-yard games how many 100-yard games did he have?
He only had one.
One. How many 70-yard games did he have?
No, 2.
2.
Yeah. And how many touchdowns did he score?
4 total.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were in a week 17 game.
2 including the playoffs. It was a 6-game stretch.
I don't care about the playoffs. We're not talking about the playoffs. No. Do you play fantasy football in the playoffs?
No.
No. We're talking about fantasy football here. And before you give me he didn't know the offense. Yes, he did. Because he was not asked to do a whole lot. Number one slot guy on this team is who?
Chris Godwin.
Okay. The best work Antonio Brown's ever done in his life is out of the slot. You think they're going to run 2 at a time? No. They're going to do exactly what they did last year with Antonio Brown. Where you're getting him, that's fine. He's also rising. And I think it's dumb to dumb to dumb, 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 dumb. The man had literally 62 targets in half a season. That's all well and good. With Chris Godwin and Mike Evans being less than what I think they are. And you were talking about O.J. Howard and Giovanni Bernard. And you can't have all these things. You can't have all of that and say that's a knock on Mike Evans and then go, yeah, but Antonio Brown, the guy who didn't do jack shit until the playoffs.
No, because I can because of where you're getting him. You get Antonio Brown in, the 10th round?
Shit.
The 9th round?
Let's see. As of right now, Antonio Brown is going math's fun. 6 is 72, 7 is 84. Beginning of the 8th round. You're taking him. You're taking him right behind Brandon Cooks, right in front of Laviska Shenault, Michael Pittman. If that's where he goes, that's fine. That's not where I see him going.
Oh, you're seeing
in
him
short
going
drafts that I'm doing, I'll go ahead and tell you, I've seen him go as high as the 5th, and I think it's stupid.
That's absolutely stupid. I have not run into that situation yet. I'm always making the decision in the, back end of the 7th, early 8th, maybe even the 9th round with Antonio Brown. I think anything higher than that is dumb. But I think at that 7, 8, 9 range, he's going to outperform that value. That's why I keep saying that. But it does. I mean, all of the mouths to feed eats into the top 2. And we haven't even mentioned how much Tom Brady loves Scotty Miller.
Scotty Miller's irrelevant.
He's not irrelevant.
He's irrelevant. For fantasy football purposes, he's irrelevant.
For fantasy football purposes.
Which is what we're talking about.
For real football, he is used on big plays, and that eats into the other wide receivers. That's how he factors in.
It's eaten into him a lot the last 2 years. He had 2 that were per game in the top 20 in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
He's had, how many targets does Scotty Miller have in his life?
I don't know.
79 in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's relevant. Slightly more relevant than Tyler Johnson, but it's damn close. It's another one of those real-life football players that doesn't change shit. See, everything you've just said with your team is why I scream at people from the mountaintops, you have to do projections, because half of what you said here doesn't make any goddamn sense. So the effect of Mike Evans is Chris Godwin, but that doesn't affect Antonio Brown, but it did. I watched it do it.
That's not what I said.
Okay, me and everyone in the comments is wrong. So we all either heard you wrong or you said it wrong. Mm-hmm. Clarify your stance.
My stance is that there are so many other guys in this that it's going to affect the big guys.
And there always have been. That's the point I'm trying to make. Brady threw for 4,500 yards last year in 16 games. You don't think he's going to do it again? 100% he is. 100% he is. You're going to have 2 guys that are about 1,200 yards. I've got the projections literally sitting in front of me.
Okay.
I've got Godwin and Mike Evans both at 1,200 yards. Both. Godwin with more catches, Evans with more touchdowns. The Antonio Brown's at like 680, I think, is where I had. For some reason, he's not pulling up. And then you got Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, O.J. Howard, Rob Gronkowski that all fill up about a 2,000-yard pot. Mm-hmm. Guess what that means for all of them? You're irrelevant to what we're talking about here. I keep saying people draft Rob Gronkowski. Stop doing that. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Adam Felin. No more, any more thoughts on him?
My problem with Thielen's how they use him. And I do, and you know what? We had a Vikings fan, and I would give him a shout out here, but I can't remember his name. Mm-hmm. That said something in the comments that said, hey, you're finally learning. When Mike Zimmer talks, you should literally do the exact opposite of what he just said. Irv Smith's going to cut into him. Thielen didn't have the targets last year. He was 108 targets, which is about 40 less than he was averaging in the good old days. Mm-hmm. And I just don't know that it's going to come back. Between injuries, he seems to have been dinged up for 2 solid years. I don't have a problem with him. It just depends where you get him. I'm not good with the fact he's going ahead of Godwin, going ahead of, hell, I'd rather have a Marty Cooper. It's one of those things, if he was going where Deontay Johnson was going and Deontay Johnson was going where he was going, I would be swapping what I'm saying. But they're not, and I'm not. So okay. I don't see a path Adam Thielen being my 2. Not me being happy about it. I would rather wait and have hell. God, I could go a ways in this. I'd rather have Brandon Ayuk. I'd rather have T. Higgins, Chase Claypool, Odell Beckham Jr. I guess I am down on Adam Thielen.
Okay. And he's 31 years old.
That doesn't help anything either, but the way he plays, if they would just use him the way he needs to be used, then that would be fine, but they seem to have an aversion to doing that.
Right.
Now, I will say, you have a different Kubiak doing it now, so maybe the younger one learns. Maybe the sins of the father are not the sins of the son.
Let's talk about Julio Jones. Julio Jones is a guy that, I love the move to Tennessee. I think it's going to be great for them. Add a new dimension to their passing game. But is he worth taking in the 3rd round, 4th round?
Nope.
He's 32 years old, only played 9 games last year because of recurring hamstring things. If you rode this roller coaster with him last year, you were as frustrated as the next guy. Plays in week 1, doesn't play in week 2, plays in week 3, doesn't play in week 4. Like, it was almost every other week there for a little bit. He had a good stretch in the middle of the season and then just shut it down for the last 4 games of the year after everything had, already been decided and there was no reason. There's no reason for him to get back out onto the field.
The Julio Jones thing to me is very, very, very easy. Corey Davis last year had 92 targets.
Okay.
My computer's spinning at me. Yep, 92. 92 targets, 984 yards, 5 touchdowns. If you project what Julio Jones has been his entire career, bump that up just a hair because he's Julio Jones. Put it at 105. He's right at 1,000 yards. He's right at 7 touchdowns. That's being generous because he's had several years where he couldn't find the end zone. Literally, you'd think there were landmines in the end zone because he couldn't get in it.
Right.
So now he's the 2 on his team, and you think it's going to benefit him? I don't understand that. Julio's another one. I would love him if he falls. He doesn't seem to fall ever. Every draft I seem to do, somebody winds up with Julio Jones as their 1, and I can't wrap my brain around it.
Right. I was going to say a lot of people are taking him either as their 1 or as their 2 behind a stud like Stephon Diggs or Devontae Adams or something like that.
And I would be fine with that. Problem is that your running back suck.
Exactly.
I don't like walking. I'll be honest with you. I walk away from most drafts with a tight end, 3 running backs, and wide receiver out of the first 5 rounds.
Yes.
So far, every guy that we've talked about, not somebody I'm jumping up and down to have. Julio Jones just flat out going too high.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, if you do draft him, he is usable most of the time. I mean, last year he only had 3 games, I think, that were really bad. Actually, 2 games that were really bad. One was very mediocre, and then the rest, it was he either scored a touchdown or he did great on receptions and yardage to where he was a starting level wide receiver in fantasy football. I just think the price tag is way too high if you're taking him at the top of the 4th round.
The rent is too damn high.
That's right.
And I'm good.
Kenny Galliday switches teams from Detroit to the New York Giants. Played, 5 games last year?
Injury-prone guy. Another one. There's value in the 8th round. He'll never make it that far.
No.
He did in a draft I did the other day. And I went, oh, okay. Here? I'm good with here. 6th? I'll pass.
Right. I think people are just expecting a lot from Kenny Galliday. And
because the talent's good.
I mean, his talent's great. But the problem is the team surrounding him is not good. And he takes a step down from Matthew Stafford to Daniel Jones. I get Daniel Jones has a pretty decent, big arm down the field, but he also has more competition in this offense than he did in Detroit.
I got news for you. I watched the Giants firsthand because they played my Jets in week 1 of the preseason. Yeah. That team is in trouble. They are horribly bad. I understand they were playing the 2s. I don't care. They were disorganized. It was ugly.
Anybody else on your risky fantasy plays list at the wide receiver position?
Scott Frost is currently risky.
Oh, yeah?
Nebraska head coach. He's under investigation by the NCAA.
Oh, no.
I just got sent that on Twitter.
Oh, no.
Apparently he was doing some of that fun, hey, we're not having workouts, don't look at us. Nobody's working out over here. And across town. Workouts. Held by analysts. Will never understand why you keep doing that. How in the shit do you not think you're going to get caught doing that?
And what sucks is they're putting in the extra work and they still suck.
Yeah, and they're doing it in a fucking cornfield.
DJ Shark, do we need to mention him again?
No, because for
that
whatever reason,
horse.
Urban Meyer hates him. Free DJ Shark.
Right.
Get him on a team that will fucking use him.
Maybe they'll trade him away for a 7th-round pick, too.
Kelvin Joyner said Frosty should have stayed at UCF. Can I give you plus 100 on that? Because I said that the day he took that job. You're going to regret that because now you're out there with all those corn people. And I love corn. They love corn in a way that I don't love corn.
I think we should mention Elijah Moore just because as much as you pump him up, there's no way he can live up to your expectations.
Where he's going, because his ADP's not changing. There are 2 rookies that I'm looking at going, why in the world are they going so damn low? And it's Amon-Ra St. Brown and it's Elijah Moore.
Right.
By the way, stop with Terrace Marshall. Matthew Berry put out yesterday that Terrace Marshall should be going where Elijah Moore's going. Stop that. Because you know what the Jets don't have? Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. or Christian McCaffrey. We have none of those things.
Right.
We have Elijah Moore. At the end of this year, I swear to you, when I win like 100 of these charity fantasy leagues we're doing, I'm going to get Elijah Moore's name done on all of my rings.
You probably will. Before we move into tight ends, just want to remind everybody that support for the Sportsocracy is brought to you by Manscaped. Check out our friends at manscaped.com. Save 20% today by using our promo code Sportsocracy. You can save 20% on your purchase and get free worldwide shipping. Manscaped has the precision engineered tools for your family jewels. The advanced skin safe technology and the ceramic blade cuts down on any accidents that you might have in the bathroom when you're, trying to spruce up for the ladies. And we all know downstairs accidents are the worst kinds of accidents to have. You'll never get it to stop bleeding. Never. Get the Lawnmower 4.0 with the advanced skin safe technology today. Save yourself 20% on all of your purchase at manscaped.com. They not only have that, they have the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. They have oils and soaps and all kinds of accoutrement, underwear, t-shirts, all of it. Save 20% today by using the Sportsocracy promo code at manscaped.com, and always get free worldwide shipping. Your balls will thank you. Risky tight end plays for 2021 fantasy football. My first one is Dallas Goedert.
I can do this pretty quickly. If they're not named Travis Kelce, George Kittle, or Darren Waller,
it's a risk.
And I want you to remember this face. No! Sorry, I couldn't help it. I get asked more of this tight end whisperer thing that you did to me.
Yep.
Holy shit. I get more Twitter messages about, how do you feel about Mark Andrews? The same way I have the 906 times we've talked about him on the show. Do I like him? Sure. Do I think he's any better than Robert Tonyan? Nope. Do I feel like he's any better than Irv Smith? Nope. Mm-hmm. Irv Smith will be my tight end in more places than I'm proud to admit.
Him and Adam
Cole
Troutman.
Kmet. You said Cole Kmet wrong. Adam Troutman's my 3 behind the other 2.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing. Justin Fields is going to throw to some damn body. And he has one receiver not named Allen Robinson that's above 5'2.5". Mm-hmm. I like Cole Kmet a lot. Now, in terms of risky tight ends, I don't like where Mark Andrews is going.
Middle of the 5th?
At all. No. Not at all. I don't. I'm just looking at that. I'm trying to find one, honestly, outside of the top 3. And now I'm drunk on Darren Waller, and you know that as well as I do. Mm-hmm. Darren Waller and we're going to be best friends. We're going to do karate in the garage. And fun stat about Darren Waller, the last 2 years he's had over 1,100 yards and over 70 receptions both years. The 3 years combined before that, he had 18 catches for 185 yards. Mm-hmm. His second longest play was on a rush. And I love that people keep going, John Gruden's a moron. Well, he saw it in Darren Waller, and John Harbaugh, he was on another team, but he was only there for a minute. I think it meant. Yeah. Another smart coach. Neither one of them saw it in him.
Yeah.
So, before anybody did throw shade at Gruden, just know he found something where nobody else did.
Again, I have found myself steering away from these middle round guys. Mark Andrews,
like any of them.
T.J. Hawkinson, Dallas Goedert.
I like Hawkinson
and now
as a
Logan
real-life
Thomas
player.
Is up there, too.
I like Hawkinson as a real-life player. I don't like him as a fantasy player.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. All right, so what is the path of righteousness here for Tanya? That's not a team that we think is going to be a prodigious scoring team, do we? His upside would be touchdowns. So, how much better do you really think he can be than he was last year?
Not much.
He's tied in 5.
Not especially with Jared Goff.
Actually, I like him better with Goff than I do with Stafford.
Why? Because he made Tyler Higbee a thing?
No, because he's made several tight ends a thing. Gerald Everett was never a thing until he showed up. He was a guy that we didn't even like coming into the draft. Higbee, Matthew Stafford, Jacob Harris. Okay? It's just, don't fuck me on that. I know you don't like tight ends, and you have screwed up a couple of mine. Jacob Harris is Darren Waller 2.0.
Yep. Dallas Goedert, I've been seeing him go very, very high. In the 5th and 6th round, up with Mark Andrews and TJ Hawkinson. There seems to be a run that goes on right there in most of the drafts that I find myself in the 5th and 6th rounds. And Dallas Goedert is the one to me that I look at and go, I don't know. There's a lot of risk.
Dallas go Dirte.
Yeah. Hate his quarterback. Hate the rest of his team. I get that
his quarterback makes me like him more. Just throwing that out there.
Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, shitty quarterbacks throw to tight ends and running backs more than they do to outside wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I can get down with Goddard is because of that. I can't get down with him where he's going. I just can't. I can't for the life of me figure out. Just looking at ADP, you're taking him ahead of Robert Tonyan right now, which is stupid to me.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking him ahead of Noah Fant, Evan Ingram,
mm-hmm.
Irv Smith, Adam Troutman.
To me, it's part of it's still that Zach Ertz is there. Zach Ertz is still on the team. He's going to get targets if he's still on the team. If they don't find a new destination for him, then I like Goedert even less. Now, last year, Goedert did outperform Ertz and got more targets. Or despite getting fewer targets. Excuse me, I said that wrong. But still, I'm not taking him in the 5th round. Not spending a 5th round pick on him, which is where I have seen him go. His average ADP is down in the 7th round, but I think that's changing. As the tight end run comes, he's the one that gets swept up in all of that. I'm out on TJ Hawkinson this year as well. Again, I'll say the same thing that he did. Great real football player as far as fantasy goes. He can get you a couple of big plays, but I don't think that's going to. I think he is what he is. Last year with close to 70 catches, 700 yards, 6 or 7 touchdowns, it's probably where he is. And if that's worth it to you in the 5th round for a tight end, go for it.
See, I'm one of the. I'm doing everything in my power to get one of those top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now, apparently, a lot of people are on the same narrative as me of
yes.
Travis Kelce, no matter what.
Yes.
So I'll be honest with you, and I haven't said this on the show yet. I'm okay taking Darren Waller in the 2nd round. I don't love it,
mm-hmm.
but I'm not so sure that I don't like it better going. I don't know, Dalvin Cook, Darren Waller in the 2nd round.
Then on
Joe
the turn.
Mixon and Josh Jacobs in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Oh. That touched me in a place that if a lady touched me there, I'd go, ooh, that was nice.
That was nice. Any other risky tight end plays? I think outside of the top 3, they're all risks.
I would agree with you. I just don't. The one that seems to be getting a lot of hate, and I don't know why, is Mike Gesicki. He seems to be taking just a lot of shade from people that do what we do, and I'm not sure I understand why. I understand they have more targets. I get that. Mm-hmm. Remember the thing I said about bad quarterbacks throwing to running backs and tight ends?
Mm-hmm.
Tua Tagovailoa falls into that. I'm okay with him.
He's markedly more than 80-something targets, though?
Gesicki?
Yeah.
No, but I don't think many of these tight ends do. Name me the tight end that you feel really good about seeing 100 targets.
Well, obviously you got the top 3.
Hold on, look, before you go any further, there were 5 tight ends last year that were targeted 100 times. I will bet you $1 to a dickhole you can't tell me who. You might get 4, you won't get 5.
That tells me number 5 was Evan Ingram.
That's exactly right.
No,
Kelce and Waller both.
I saw that stat a couple of weeks ago with Evan Ingram. He was the 5th most targeted tight end in the league. Can he have as bad of a year this year as he had last year?
He was 4. TJ Hawkinson was 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he saw 109 targets. Waller and Kelce were both at 145. Logan Thomas and Evan Ingram were basically both at 110.
Yep.
And Hawk was just over 100. That's the thing you have to remember about tight ends. You don't see the volume. Mm-hmm. There were only 3 more in the 90s. Let's see if you can get any of those. You really want to blow my mind? I mean, you might see blood come out of my ear if he gets all three of these.
90 targets?
90 or more.
For a tight end.
Well, between 90 and 100.
Let's go with Noah Fant. Goddard.
Nope.
No.
Goddard was at 65.
Jesus.
I knew it was low. I didn't know.
I thought it was much higher than that.
I knew it was low. I didn't know it was that. I thought he was in the high 70s.
Zach Ertz, did he get up into the 90s?
Nope. He was 72.
72. Hunter Henry? Then I don't know.
Jared Ebron.
Eric Ebron. I always forget about him.
It's one reason that it's a real good time to take Pat Freiermuth in Dynasty Leagues.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Okay. I always forget about Eric Ebron. Who were the others?
That was the three.
Oh, that was the
There
three.
were only three.
Oh, there were only three. I thought you said there were 5. Okay.
And I can see Pitts going over 100 targets this year, but that's about the only one I see getting into that.
Yeah.
I keep hearing Logan Thomas, and I just don't buy it.
100 targets?
Oh, he had 110 last year.
Did he? I didn't even realize
But you also
that.
didn't have Curtis Samuel. You had one living, breathing receiver last year. And now you've got 2 young guys that I know they like in Gandy Golden and De'Ami Brown.
Right.
I would say there's going to be some regression in Logan Thomas. He can still be good. I do also need you to understand that of Thomas's 110 targets, 28 of them were in 2 games. Against the Cardinals, and I can't remember the other one. It was a division game. Maybe the Eagles.
It truly is if you ain't first, you need to be last with the tight ends.
It's the 2 Ricky Bobby positions this year, quarterback and tight end. You should take one before everybody else and one after everybody else. It's the double Ricky Bobby. It's the Ricky Bobby Cal Naughton Jr.
Nice. Shake and bake.
Shake and bake, baby.
Any other names to mention before we start fighting about TV shows?
I need to. Adam Black said, "Did we put out the charity leagues yet?" It's going out today. So there will be a link on our website that you can directly pay. And what I need you to do is give me your email address and when you are free to draft. So we're going to house these on Best Ball. It's going to be on a Best Ball site. It's going to be one of 2. It's basically going to be whoever emails me back first, and I'm on email 2 to both of them. So once I know what level, you'll be put in leagues with guys that are in the same, guys and girls that are in the same level as you. So if you do the $20 donation, you'll be in with other people that did $20 donation. And just as we fill them, we'll put them out there. Those of you that know me, feel free to shoot me a message, email, anything like that, and I'll get you in the list. The ones that I really know, I may slightly use you to kind of fill holes because we're not going to have good contact with all of these people. One thing I've learned, people don't answer emails worth a shit. Somebody sends you an email, it's like a text message. Just fucking answer it. Just send the message back. It's not that hard. Just, okay.
Our executive producer showed up and he's like, fuck you.
Who, by the way, I've been friends with for 10 years. I have sent exactly 0 emails to ever. And do you know why? Because I might as well talk to my coffee cup. Coffee cup, how do you feel? But, oh, nothing? Okay. That's it.
Nice.
Patrick Holt said use Sleeper. That's one of the 2. They are also impossible to get a hold of because they have the team that works on Sleeper is like 4 people. It is staggering how much work comes out of a very small staff. They don't have a marketing person, to my knowledge.
It makes sense.
They're like us. They have a CEO, a CFO, and you better pray to God you get one of them.
Right. All right, so that's going to be coming out hopefully today.
Yes.
As soon as we get an email.
It'll be on the website. I've got the button done. I just have to actually put it on the website and tie it into all of the things.
Wonderful. How did we get into the TV discussion yesterday? I forgot what.
Are you talking about before the show?
Yeah.
Because I just got done doing my yearly football get ready for the season, and I watched the league all the way through.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal. So literally, hey, you know what? I'll just go ahead and tell you. We did our top 8 of greatest sitcoms ever made.
Yep.
The league is my one.
Oh, you're an idiot.
100%. The league is my one. The league is my number one. We'll get back to that in a second. But the league is, oh my God, it's the greatest show ever. I would give anything for them to bring that show back. Mm-hmm. Short of actually doing anything about it, because I don't do that well.
That was the one show that made me realize I don't think I like Nick Kroll. I really don't.
You don't like Nick Kroll? What the hell's the matter with you? Nick Kroll is hilarious. What is it, Big Mouth? Is that the name of that cartoon show?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
He gets too annoying for me.
Jason Trump said he's not surprised by one show on my list. I'm very transparent.
No. Yes.
100%.
Although I was shocked. I thought Seinfeld was going to be your number one.
No, Seinfeld has to be behind Friends. I loved Seinfeld.
Oh, I agree.
And you got to understand, my 8 is infallible. There is nothing breaking its way into my top 8 unless it is just fire. Mm-hmm. Because I've watched every one of those shows all the way through at least twice. By the way, Patrick Holt said his top 5 is Seinfeld, I Love Lucy, I've never seen an episode of it. Cheers, never seen an episode of it. MASH, never seen an episode of it. And Friends.
That's a solid top 5.
And from everything I've seen, it is solid.
It is a solid top 5. It's hard not to have I Love Lucy in there. Breaking Bad is not a sitcom, so Adam Black, it cannot exist on the top sitcoms list.
But
you did nail it with The Office. Yellowstone is not a sitcom either.
I mean, look at my list. Everything on my list is a sitcom.
Okay.
All right, so we'll just go through them. Tank has Cheers at 1.
Cheers is number 1.
Of which, if you told me one of us would have a show about just getting plastered with your buddies at 1, I would have sworn it was me. I've never seen it. Woody Harrelson terrifies me, and Ted Danson's freakishly large head freaks me the fuck out. So I've just never watched it.
That's very specific, very weird reasons not to like it.
Ted Danson's the only human on earth that has a bigger head than I do.
How could you? It was just such a great cast of characters, and it was set, of course, in my favorite city of Boston, and it was the first grown-up comedy show that I was ever allowed to watch. And, to me, it's the greatest of all time.
Patrick, another good comment said, and The Simpsons. Simpsons actually Rolling Stone's number 1 of all time.
Yes.
We did not consider any cartoon shows.
No.
Because Family Guy would have been very close for me.
Family Guy would have been at least number 2 on my list, I bet.
It would have been very high. Adam Black, thank you for being the one to finally notice that Tank has the Golden Girls.
I do. Give me that camera.
Oh,
give me that camera.
Lord. Hold on. I got that's a 2-part process without a switcher.
See? That's my girls.
He's wearing a Golden Girls shirt.
I am wearing a Golden Girls shirt because fuck you, the Golden Girls was awesome.
And I feel like this will go down in Sportsocracy and our partnership history, because I feel like this is the first stage of a 4-stage process that ultimately leads to you going, this is my life partner, and pulling out a tabby cat. and it's a cat that you carry around in your purse.
Oh, come on.
And it has a lot of catitude.
No. You could not love the Golden Girls. They had everything. It was one of the greatest it was one of the greatest friendship stories of all time.
I have
4
never
random women
in my life seen one episode of it. I'll be honest with you, your mom threw out Designing Women.
Yep.
Designing Women beats Golden Girls senseless.
You're an idiot.
100% beats it senseless.
Not even close.
Mama Tank wins. +5 Mama Tank. Mama Tank's on the board at +5.
Yeah, no. Designing Women is in the honorable mentions category for me because we only did top 8 power rankings. But yes, Mom, they were on my list as well.
And you know what? Your mom said he was watching with you, and that's very sweet. Yeah. I watch Designing Women with my mom.
Look, me and Mom watch TV together all the time, and it was mostly MASH. We watched a lot of MASH. We watched some WKRP in Cincinnati, which
is that the one with the turkeys?
Yes.
I swear to God, I
drop.
thought turkeys could fly.
Yeah, the turkey drop.
That one's acceptable too.
Yes. We watched a lot of Designing Women.
That one's good. I
love Designing Women. Delta Burke was like one of my first crushes. She was the one with the poofy hair.
Oh, I know she is.
The fat one. Shouldn't surprise you. It shouldn't surprise you. Delta Burke went through more weight changes on that show than Oprah did.
This is what I in all the time we've done this show, I have never felt like I was in the middle of a deposition where I had to be really careful what I said. Do right now. I feel like there is no good can come from anything I'm about to say. Yeah, WKRP, I will give you that one solely because of the turkey thing. I swear to God, I thought turkeys could fly.
Oh, Johnny Fever. Johnny Fever was the coolest
That's
cat
the
on
only
the planet.
thing I have ever known about that show. I couldn't tell you a character. I couldn't tell you what station it was on. I knew nothing.
Ugh.
But Patrick Holt said Delta Airlines is better than Delta Burke. It's one of the only ways to fly. I'm a U.S. Airways guy myself, but I do see the merit of Delta. By the way, what I was going to say, when you said Delta Burke, the only thing I could hear was the ladies' man. You remember Tim Meadows that played the ladies' man? And he constantly talked about Delta Burke.
Why don't I remember that?
That's just disgusting. One of the most underrated television characters of all time was Tim Meadows as the ladies' man.
Yeah.
The movie was hot garbage, but the skits on Saturday Night Live were phenomenal.
Right. No. So anyway, back to the list. What?
Adam Black just went +2 twice, so that's +4 for Black.
No, I did not love the Gilmore Girls. My wife loved that show, and I despised it with every inch of my soul.
Hold on. Patrick Holt, did you say you were an extra in Dawson's Creek?
Nice.
Secret time? While we're mentioning embarrassing things that will be used against us for future reference. I love Dawson's Creek. I was 12, but I did love Dawson's Creek. That makes now Patrick Holt, we're
that
right
makes
here.
that whole raccoons joke that you tell make way more sense.
100%. Yeah. Fuck yeah, do raccoons.
Love you, Dawson.
No, Katie Holmes. I would have watched. Katie Holmes could have read the Fletchertown phone book, and I would have watched it when I was 12. Because I was in love with her.
That makes sense.
And not now, because she married Tom Cruise and she got crazy.
Number 2 on your list was what? So my number 1 was Cheers. Yours was The League, which is dumb.
No, 100%. Robbie Bomb! Sorry, had to. I promised my wife I was getting that on screen today.
My 2 was Friends.
Mine's How I Met Your Mother. Most underrated sitcom of all time. Not even kind of debatable to me.
Yeah, it was. Where was it on the Rolling Stone list? We looked at this before the show.
The Rolling Stone list made me angry because they had a show from the BBC, which, by the way, apparently is a television station and not what I thought it was. Nothing. I got nothing on that.
I wasn't listening. I was trying to find the ranking here.
Of course you weren't. It was funny.
Just trust me, it was funny.
It was just trust me. It was funny. It was a cat joke. How I Met Your Mother is the only sitcom I can think of that I've seen all the way through 5 times.
Yeah, I've not seen it that many times. I don't even think. I found out yesterday. I haven't even. That's how we started this conversation.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yesterday, before
we
the show
started this
started
because
yesterday.
he figured out he's never seen the last season.
I never saw the last season of How I Met Your Mother. Like, I thought the show ended with him meeting her on the park bench after Robin and Barney's wedding, and I stopped watching it. Apparently, there was a whole nother season after that.
Damn it, Patrick Holt +3. I should have had. I should have had a pocket dog. Damn it, I missed the opportunity to have a pocket dog on this show.
The fuck
The
is
League? Rafi with pocket dogs. He had hot dogs in his jacket. He would just randomly take them out and eat them. By the way, brilliant idea. Put the ketchup and mustard underneath the hot dog. That way it doesn't get on of your jacket. Okay? Okay?
I guess I didn't smoke enough weed when that was going on to keep my attention with The League. No, the weed use came after The League was popular. My number 2 is Friends. It's to me, it's the all-time greatest Friends story. You could, and a show that you could never get away with today. I mean, we find
100%.
a lot of that, but you could never get away with having a Friends show today where just, Oh, these 6 random white people living in Manhattan, just hanging out in coffee
daily
shops.
Bullshit problems. I loved Friends.
Over time, they tried to squeeze in the minorities here and there. Like, there was the Asian, what? Yeah, the Aisha Tyler.
Who I love her, by the way.
It was always Ross's girlfriend.
By the way, secret time, the reason Friends ahead of Seinfeld, Aisha Tyler.
Okay, good to know. I believe she would, I believe she would break you.
That's fine. 100%.
All in for it. How I Met Your Mother is also on my top 8.
Okay, I have to say this just because Adam Black said Adam Black was I guess when we were talking about the Aisha Tyler thing.
Yeah.
He said Winnie from, I'm assuming that's from The Wonder Years.
Yes.
Wah Wah Wee Wah. Kelly Kapowski. I am legit married to Kelly Kapowski at the 35. So right there with you. She was also one of my first loves. Mm-hmm. If you ever see pictures of us online, you'll never unsee that my wife looks like Kelly Kapowski. I did it to him, and he's never unseen it.
No. Kelly was number 1 for me. I wasn't in on Winnie Cooper. I mean, she was fine.
Saved by the Bells. Oh, Winnie, you stop that.
She was fine.
The only reason I know shit about the Wonder Years was Winnie
She was
Cooper.
no Topanga from Boy Meets World.
Vic Shelton said no Married with Children. I'm going to level with you. I like that show. I was never allowed to watch that show. But I mean, you got to understand, when that show was on television, I was like 6. Mm-hmm. I think it went off there in, 95?
Something like that.
I would have been 8. And I've just never really cycled back to watch it. Mm-hmm. Michael Whiteside said, who's the boss with Alyssa Milano?
+6 for Patrick Holt. Topanga is better.
I have a funny Topanga story that I will tell on the show one day.
Wait, you met Topanga?
100%. I'm actually friends with a guy that dated Topanga.
Really?
She's real cool in person.
Nice.
He, douchebag, but she was super cool. I got plastered with Topanga. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, learn shit about yourself, smell, sounds, taste, colors with Topanga.
That's pretty cool. My number 3 was The
She'll
Office.
always been like my top 3 just because of that.
Yeah. Was The Office. U.S. version, not the U.K. version. The U.K. version is bullshit, and I know it was the originator. Don't give me that shit. I don't. British comedy, it's very, very hit or miss.
And they got that accent, which we know how Jeremy feels about accents.
Yeah, Jeremy doesn't like accents.
The life of a wife is ended by the knife. Out.
But The Office is one that I didn't even start watching it until last year. I think I binge watched it over the last year because you and Ron, our former producer, kept coming in with the Office references, and I had never seen The Office.
Absolutely love The Office.
But it is immediately one of the
tremendous.
all-time favorites. I got The Big Bang Theory at 4.
Look, I liked it. It was very hokey.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, super hokey.
Part of the charm for me.
See, not for me.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
going to
you
be
had
honest with
too
you.
many nerd references for you.
No, I actually like the nerd. That part I got.
Okay.
I never could fully believe that Kaylee Cuoco would ever deal with those people ever.
By the way, that's why it's number 4.
Kaylee Cuoco?
Kaylee Cuoco.
100%. She's got a new Smirnoff vodka commercial.
One of the proudest moments of my life as a father was my wife had like a Us Weekly magazine or something when the kids were like 4 years old, and Joshua walked up to me with it and he goes, "This is my future wife." And I went, "Yeah, that's my boy." Big Bang Theory to me it had everything. It had everything for everyone. It had the nerd references, it had science, it had comedy, it had love stories with the nerds, which I always thought was something different that you didn't normally see.
Yeah, your wife pointed out she actually dated the guy that played Leonard in real life.
Yeah.
I still don't believe that. I still 100% do not believe that. That had to be for the show. It had to be bullshit. There's no way it wasn't.
Why not?
Look at him and look at okay.
There's more to life than looks.
I don't disagree with that. I don't in any way disagree with that.
Don't be so damn shallow. You can find love in special places.
I like the Big Bang Theory. There was no way it was beating any of the 8 for me. I always thought that show was a little overrated.
No.
I mean, like I said, watched every episode of it ever.
Yeah. To me, it was good from the beginning, and it only got better as it went on. As they added more characters in, and Mayim Bialik came in, and Bernadette. I mean, the voice drives me crazy.
Oh, yeah, the voice. The voice was awful.
Jeebus. Howard did well for himself.
Yes, he did.
What was your 4?
My 4 was Friends.
Okay.
I had 2.5 Men at 3. By the way, that's only Charlie Sheen. As soon as they killed off Charlie Sheen, that show should have been immediately just ripped apart.
Mm-hmm. They tried to replace him with Ashton Kutcher, and it just didn't work.
Secret Time, Ashton Kutcher's, he's got a show in my top 10.
Really?
And it's not the one you think.
That 70s show?
Nope. That's the one I thought you would think it was.
Oh, it's The Ranch.
I hated
It's The
that
Ranch.
70s show. Absolutely hated it.
The Ranch.
100%.
Yeah.
We just started that again. My wife's
Ranch.
never seen that. We started that again last night. Made it through almost a full season. She laughed her ass off. I was like, it's the 4th time I've tried to get you to watch this show. Mm-hmm. And you kept falling asleep.
Yeah, but it's one of those shows that also made me think, what could have been? What could have been had Danny Masterson just been able to keep it in his pants? Because once Rooster was gone,
killed it.
The show lost some of its luster. My 5 is The Golden Girls. Your 5?
I keep forgetting them. Seinfeld. Seinfeld's a spot behind Friends. The Office is a spot behind Seinfeld. Mm-hmm. Seinfeld was the original, but Friends did it. But Friends did the same shtick, just a little better. Mm-hmm. There were so many ancillary characters on Seinfeld that just annoyed the piss out of me. I never really liked Elaine. Mm-hmm. I liked all of the Friends. Mm-hmm. They were all wonderful. And The Office, it got really stupid once Michael Scott was gone.
Yeah.
But the finale brings it back into the top 8.
Kramer, to me, was too over the top. He was very overrated.
I liked Kramer.
And it was just at that time that whole Seinfeld craze was going on, and I didn't get it. I guess maybe I was too young at the time to get the jokes, and then I just never went back and watched it in syndication until my later years, and with all his Seinfeld references, I've tried to watch it, and it's fine.
I don't think he could be partnered with me if he hadn't gone all the way through Seinfeld, because I talk about that show a lot.
That's why when you say funny things from Seinfeld, I don't laugh because I don't get the joke, because don't care. It was completely overrated to me. And so was Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I know that's going to rankle some people.
Curb Your Enthusiasm's hard to get into, but once you do, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Let me guess, you tapped out within half of the first season.
I think I watched all of the first 2 seasons.
Oh.
It had my attention for a while, but then it just got old because it was the same shit all the time. How many Richard Lewis cameos do I need to see?
Yeah, and I never found Richard Lewis to be all
I didn't either.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, usually with Curb Your Enthusiasm, I'm like, oh, you didn't make it far enough.
Yeah. I gave it a shot.
The Larry David, the dry humor of Larry David, I find to be really funny.
Yeah, and to me, it was just, it was also part of this. We're trying to make it look real, but there's no way that there's somebody that dumb. I just thought Larry David was an idiot.
Larry David's also a Jets fan, and I get to hear a lot of him. Larry David he's the, who's somebody that you hear on radio in this market a lot?
Mm-hmm. Somebody on the radio that I hear in this market a lot, Eddie Fox.
We'll go with Eddie Fox.
Okay.
Larry David is the New York media version of Eddie Fox, because I swear to God he is on every show at least once a week.
Okay.
And I obviously been a New York sports fan. I watch a lot of New York radio talk shows. Mm-hmm. I swear to you, not a week has gone by that Boomer and
Carden.
Is that his name? Boomer Esiason's partner.
Yeah.
I never can remember his name.
I don't know if they're still together or not.
This one's
there
a
might
younger
be a
guy.
new, and there might be a new guy.
This one's a younger guy, because I think he switched co-host not long ago.
Yeah.
They have Larry David on constantly. Smart guy, great Jets fan, all the shit. But good Lord, I get tired of hearing the same shit from him over and over and over and over again.
How I Met Your Mother was my 6. Your 6 was?
The Office.
The Office.
And then we got you go Brockmire, which I've literally never heard of.
And it's excellent, and I can't believe of all people. I mean, I get it's baseball based, but it's Hank Azaria, who is hilarious as fuck. And I would think, tell me if I'm wrong, all of you who have seen Brockmire, do you not think Jeremy would really get into the Brockmire character of just drinking his ass off, being a drunk buffoon, and he has a very disturbing sex addiction that is featured in the show a lot.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
No. Yeah, I
faded out for a minute. I thought you were talking
is
shit
you
about me.
with a better voice and higher career trajectory.
I've never even seen it, and I agree. I literally faded out and thought you were talking shit about me because I faded out.
No. I think it's Hank Azaria's best role.
I love Hank Azaria.
Mm-hmm. Brockmire.
One of the best voice actors in the business. And then you go news radio, which to me was without a doubt the most predictable thing you've ever said to me.
Homer pick. Yeah.
And I don't disagree with you.
Homer pick.
It's not this high for me, but I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean it was the launch in some cases, and in other cases the demise of many a career in Hollywood.
Well, it killed Kathy Griffin.
No, she became more popular after that show, but I think the height of her popularity should have been during that show.
100%.
Because then she got exposed for just being really weird,
Lunatic.
and then she got all the plastic surgery and shit, and it was strange.
Now I'm convinced her and Carrot Top are the same person. You ever seen them in the same room at the same time?
Nope. Andy Dick, Joe Rogan. This was the show that gave us Joe Rogan. Who can hate on Phil Hartman?
Oh, and Phil Hartman was hilarious.
It's a classic. Also, the guy that played the boss, I always forget his name.
Oh,
but I love
Milton.
everything.
He played Milton in Office Space.
Yeah, he was Milton in Office Space. He's been in everything you've ever seen. Played the blind guy in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Mm-hmm.
Stephen.
That was the mighty fine picket. Sorry.
Stephen Nelson.
Stephen something.
Yeah. I can't ever remember his name. Anyhow. No, and then Dave Foley. I was a big Kids in the Hall fan, and this was Dave Foley's big role on primetime television.
Stephen Root is his
Stephen
name.
Root. That was it, yes. So, news radio to me, it's part of the reason that, I continued my quest to get into broadcasting was because of this show and because of Phil Hartman. So it's a straight up Homer pick at number 8. It was either that or MASH. And
my last two were Homer picks as well because they have my favorite actor in it.
Okay.
It's Home Improvement and Last Man Standing.
Oh.
I love Tim Allen.
Yeah.
My favorite actor in all of Hollywood, and it's not even close.
Last Man Standing better than Home Improvement. True or false?
Would have been true had they not had to recast Mandy halfway through it. When they moved from ABC to Fox, that screwed things up because they had to recast and they had to change a bunch of things. I still liked it, but I liked it better before that.
Who's my favorite character on that show?
Oh,
it's a female.
Yeah, it's the oldest daughter.
Boyd's mom.
I can't remember her name. Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm shocked. You can push me over with a feather.
Others that did not get named that I feel like we should name. We
should name all of the cartoons because we already said that once, but we didn't consider any of the cartoons. So Family Guy, South Park, all of those things were out. Letterkenny and Blue Mountain State were mentioned. I've never seen either of those. No. I've been told I should watch Letterkenny, and I've started Blue Mountain State. I've just never gotten through it. Not for any particular reason. Just real I'm one series at a time, and I've always tried to blend Blue Mountain State in while Amy's asleep or something, and she falls asleep, and then I end up asleep.
Yeah,
and I just never finish anything except Dexter. That's how I watched Dexter the first time.
I was a huge Scrubs fan. Did you like that show?
It's all right.
Oh, that was one of my favorite go-to shows for a long time.
Trailer Park Boys, that definitely should be mentioned.
Never seen it.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Eastbound and Down, I've seen it 3 times already.
I've never finished it.
You've never finished it?
Yeah, I guess now that I look like Kenny Powers, I should probably watch that.
Yeah, you probably should.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably needs to be the next show we watch.
Yeah, it was one of the great ones. I was super stoked yesterday when I saw the headline that they're going to be doing a reboot of Frasier. Always loved that show as well.
I liked it, but I never considered it to be a sitcom because I never thought it was funny.
Really?
No, I didn't. I saw nothing in that was funny. Kelvin Joyner asked if Parks and Rec was up there. Look, I'm going to tell you something about the two of us.
Dead zone.
We have slightly differing political views. Here's one thing we hate more than anything.
Amy Poehler.
All the way in. I'll agree with that. I wasn't going to say that. You did. When politics is dumped into things where it's kind of like there's an old comedian that talked about Ray Rice, and he was talking about doing elevator and doing football. I'm a big fan of doing football, and then I'm a big fan of doing funny. And if you try to do football when you try to do funny, it doesn't work out. I feel the same way about politics. If you try to do politics and you try to do funny at the same time, it doesn't work out. And Parks and Rec lost me. I really liked was it Ron Swanson?
Yeah.
That's the one character that I really liked him. Other than that, I just found everything else to be a political PSA, and I went, nope, out. Can't do it.
And then as soon as he said that to me, I went, yeah, I don't need to see any of that.
Yeah. As soon as
I'll
I
go
said
on YouTube and see the best clips of Ron Swanson and be fine.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, you could cram that whole show into the YouTube clips that's the best takes of Ron Swanson. Save yourself a whole mess of time, and you get all of the funny. You get 99% of the funny from that show. Didn't dislike it. It's just,
No.
Me. Did we miss any? I feel like there's.
I mean, there are a bunch that we haven't mentioned. The Andy Griffith Show.
Andy Griffith.
That's one of the
Your
classics.
mom actually literally just said that. I love Andy Griffith. Love it. That's my look. I'm going to tell you a little secret time about me. My mother's a Southern Baptist singer, so there was a lot of Andy Griffith in my house growing up.
Yep.
I love that show.
I do too. Andy Griffith was one of the greats of all time. Designing Women's on my list. We talked about that. The Jeffersons.
Never seen it.
Sanford and Son.
Never seen it.
That was they were in
You're
a block
way
together.
older than me.
I know, I get that, but they were like in a block where you watch those all at the same time. Way before the TGIF ever came up.
Yeah, there were a couple of TGIF shows on my list.
Oh yeah, I mean Family Matters and
Full House.
Full House.
Full House was
Yeah.
great. I've seen Full House all the way through.
And then what came on later in the night? It was the more grown-up shows. It was
I heard Corey say Blossom from the back.
Blossom. That was part of our Friday night thing. Like, Mom would always ship the kids, or Mom and Dad would ship the kids to the grandparents' house so they could go out on the town and go to a concert or whatever. And I went to my grandmother's house, and we would watch all of those shows. And we didn't stop until it was time for bed. And so that included the Golden Girls at night and Empty Nest. I know you've never seen any of that. Empty Nest. I thought
did
was
watch Empty Nest.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
I
And
thought it was a
Southern
great
Exposure.
show. Loved it.
Northern Exposure.
Yeah.
Southern Exposure?
Northern Exposure.
Northern Exposure.
Yeah.
I knew it was a direction. I just couldn't remember which direction. I do have to say
Perfect
this.
Strangers.
It's sci-fi.
Balky and no. Perfect. You're thinking of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Things. Perfect Strangers was Balky Bartakamus and Cousin Larry, about a guy who moves from some little village into New York City, and they have massive adventures. It was a great show for the 1980s.
There were two shows that I fully well expected somebody to say, and they were the trap shows that I was going to say real bad things about. Schitt's Creek is one. I am so glad. It really, really great work by everybody today for not saying Schitt's Creek anymore, because that's the dumbest shit I've ever watched in my life.
Never seen it.
It makes my brain hurt just to think about it. And Roseanne's the other one. Great work not bringing up either of those. Really quality. Big fan.
Yeah.
So a lot of great shit. A couple of them that I've never heard of.
Quantum Leap. That was a hell of a show.
I don't even know what
with
that is.
Scott Bakula, where he traveled back in time to different places.
Wings was good.
Wings was an excellent show. All good choices.
I will say, you know what I learned through the comments of the show every day? We're all very similar people. Mm-hmm. It's weird that we've kind of all nestled into this show because we seem to be very similar humans.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, we didn't mention that. I think every kid growing up in the 90s loved that show. It was not only funny, but it also, it was hard hitting at times. That was the thing. To me, that's part of a good sitcom, is that it can still be impactful for, giving you tips for everyday life. They got into, racial issues and, social issues like your dad leaving or dealing with any kind of pain and things like that. I think great TV shows always pay off on those things and keep you laughing at the same time. Everybody Loves Raymond, The Cosby Show, full of lessons for kids.
I never watched Everybody Loves Raymond.
Why?
Because I couldn't deal with Ray Romano's voice.
It's just, yeah.
I can't do it with Ray Romano.
Lots of Jets references in that show.
Yeah, I know, because Ray Romano's a Jets fan, and I want to love him, I really do, but I can't understand him when he talks. When he talks, I feel like a dog with one of those silent whistles. Like, his voice is at a frequency that I just cannot pick up.
Yeah.
Vinny Testaverde was the greatest Jets quarterback of all time.
I always liked Robert the best. His brother.
That was the big, I can't remember his name.
Brad something.
Brad Garrett,
yeah. I always liked Robert the best out of them all. And his mom, Raymond's mom, always reminded me of my grandmother.
I will say, greatest sitcom parents. Mm-hmm. That's unequivocal to me. The funniest parents in the history of sitcoms.
Was Raymond's parents? Mm-mm. Or are you saying that's in the ranking?
No,
that we
I'm
need to do
asking the
next?
question of who is the funniest set of parents in the history of. Because mine it's not even close.
Oh, hell. I mean, I'd probably go Last Man Standing on that one.
Very good. I was talking more like ancillary characters.
Oh, okay.
Patrick Holt already got it. That's +3 Patrick Holt. George Costanza's parents, not even close. Serenity down! I got a lot of problems with you people. You want a piece of me? You got it!
The great Jerry Stiller.
Oh, God, he was hilarious.
Yeah.
And he did a movie with him.
I did. I met Mr. Bushkin. And his lovely wife. Did Ann play his wife on the show?
No, I can't remember the woman's name that played his mother. She was funny, too. Her voice drove me slightly crazy, but they were so funny.
Right. I might say Ross and Monica's parents. I always liked them.
Too.
They were good.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely up there.
I think we've mentioned every show that has ever been
quite
made.
possibly. I think we've mentioned every sitcom. If you land here from a
except
foreign
for
planet,
about 80% of the Rolling Stone Top 100.
Yeah, which
is
we've
a
never heard of.
dumbass list.
Yeah, which we've never heard of, and I'm okay with that.
Right. All right, it is time to wrap this thing up. I didn't realize that we were 30 minutes over.
Estelle
almost,
Harris was her name. That was George Costanza's mom.
I can't play.
I knew her first name was Estelle. I couldn't think of her last name because her name was Estelle in the show.
Okay. Anyway, we'll have a afternoon show on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. I want to remind everybody to come on out and celebrate Tank's 39th birthday. This Friday night, we're going to be down at Silverado's in Black Mountain for the Warrant Show. Yeah, we're going to be kicking it back 80s style, celebrating my birthday. So, yeah, if you can come on out to the show, you can buy me a beer.
And that's a show
I'm not
that
ashamed to ask for presents.
That might be the last show of the year that we're all at. No matter, pretty much other than Brian Haynes, anybody that's ever been on the screen will be at that show to the best of my knowledge.
Yes.
So if you really want one to come to, that one would be quite formidable. We have a whole damn Sportsocracy Warrant reunion.
Right.
Or gathering. Would be a reunion because we hadn't done this for long enough for a reunion.
Right. I will get on the posting of the podcast from yesterday because of all of the bad weather that we had and the computer issues that we had on the radio show yesterday afternoon. Wasn't able to get that done. But I will make it a point to do that today, and we will be live in the Ingles studio this afternoon, 3 to 5, as we are every day on ESPN Asheville. And you can take us with you everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Back here tomorrow morning for another wonderful day of the 30 Days of Draftmas.
What are we going to do tomorrow?
I don't know.
You had an idea earlier. I can't for the life of me remember what it was.
Yeah. It's not coming to me at the moment, but we can. I was talking about ranking the rankings, basically. From each fantasy site, the different values that you can get in your drafts. Because one has Michael Thomas going way too low in their rankings, and you're getting him in the 10th round. Another one has Damian Harris way too low in their rankings. You can still pick him up in the 10th, 11th round. So that's the path you want to go down tomorrow, ranking the rankings for the 30 Days of Draftmas. Right here in the Wicked Weed studio. Don't forget to check out our friends at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. We'll see you this afternoon.